What's up, Facebook, YouTube, all the individuals out there in America? It is July 26th, and I got a video I'm going to share with y'all. I'm just going to show. I always say that Trump supporters is full of crap. They always try to act like there's stuff they don't know, that they're not aware of this and they're not aware of that. They're not aware of Trump's crimes. They don't watch this. They don't watch that. They are liars. They watch it all. They are just acting the way that they are because they know that the person who they picked, that they want as president of the United States, is a person who is no good. And you have to act like you don't know that in order to support that type of person, because the minute you do, then we know the old saying, birds of a feather flock together. If he ain't crap, neither are you. You know this. These people support Trump because they believe that Trump is going to hurt people that they don't like. Brown, black, Oriental, Arab, Jewish people they don't like. And they think he's going to somehow hurt or harm them in some sort of way, shape, form, or fashion. But we're going to watch this here. This is an interview by Elise Jordan, an MSNBC political commentator, and she's talking to not just a commentator, but an analyst as well. She's going to be talking to a group of Trump supporters. And as she talks to them, I'm going to stop the video that we're watching, and I'm going to weigh in, and I'm just going to show you just how full of crap these individuals are. Let's just take a look. Let's get it playing right now.
And joining us from Green Bay, Wisconsin, former aide to the George W. Bush White House and State Department, Elise Jordan. She's an MSNBC political analyst, and she sat down with Wisconsin voters last night to get their thoughts on the election. So first, Elise, tell us about who these voters are that you spoke with.
Hi, Mika. So last night I sat down with two groups of Wisconsin voters, the all-important voters in this state where around 20,000 votes decided the last two presidential elections. We spoke to a group of female Trump supporters, and then we spoke to a group of right-leaning swing voters to hear what they thought about the recent shakeup in the election and how they see the campaign. Now, Mika, I will say that I had been in Wisconsin about a month ago doing similar focus groups, and I was really shocked at what a burst of energy the new nomination of Vice President Harris has given the race, in the sense of how the Trump supporters responded and how the swing voters responded. So I'm excited for everyone to hear directly from the voters at this important moment.
Right. So let's listen to one of the groups you spoke with, women Trump supporters in Wisconsin. I'll say it again, women Trump supporters in Wisconsin. Here's some of what they had to say to you about Vice President Kamala Harris.
$10 can help fund powerful ads to reach undecided voters nationwide.
Do you think that having Vice President Kamala Harris as the nominee dramatically changes Donald Trump's odds of winning?
I'm worried about it.
Yes.
I think she's going to go for the minority and female and younger voters.
Now let's stop it right there. She just said minority, female, and younger voters. This is what Trump supporters has been screaming for the last 2 years. Trump is getting huge numbers in. That it's this huge amount of black Trump supporters, that Trump has been getting women, and that Trump has been getting the younger voters because Biden is so old. So if Trump is already doing that, why are you worried about Kamala Harris getting these voters? if they're already with Trump?
Progressive. Everybody's excited about her. Right. And that scares me. Right. You know, because Trump has to reconfigure where he's going and how they're going to outsmart her.
Now, Trump has to reconfigure and rethink how they're going to outsmart her. Everything these people, all the information comes through Trump. Trump give them their talking points. Trump give them their marching orders. Trump tell them what news they should be listening to and what they shouldn't be listening to. I know these people. They're following him to the T. So it's not just Trump that need to configure what he's going to do, it's them too. Because they can no longer say Joe Biden is too old, crooked Joe Biden, the Biden crime family, all this bull crap. Sleepy Joe Biden. Which, let's not forget that Joe Biden passed more legislation in his one term than any president has done in their 2 terms. He'll go down in history as one of the greatest one-term presidents ever because of the amount of legislation that he passed that got our 401ks booming, everything. This economy is better than it's ever been under Trump. So let's listen.
How do you perceive Vice President Harris compared to President Biden in terms of competency and experience?
I think she's worse. She doesn't even know what's going on at the border.
Right.
And that's what she was
supposed to be doing
and in charge of. I mean, as a school teacher, if I did not do what I was supposed to be doing, you better believe my job would be in jeopardy.
Let's freeze it right there. Let me show you the hypocrisy with these individuals. She just said Kamala Harris was supposed to be put in charge of the border. She never was put in charge of the border. That's a lie. But this is what this lady said. Kamala Harris was put in charge of the border, and look what she did with that. Border crossings are as low as they've ever been in 50 years. Lower than they was when Trump was in office. First of all. But she said that Kamala Harris was put in charge of the border, and as a school teacher, if I don't do what I'm supposed to do as a school teacher, I should lose my job. Well, Trump ran on. He was going to build a wall across the border. And Mexico was going to pay for it. Remember that? All these women was at them Trump rallies screaming at, build a wall. They lying if they saying they wasn't there. Build a wall. And keep the brown people out. Build a wall. Trump didn't build one scrap of that wall that he was supposed to build. And he got offered money for it. You remember Trump got caught up in calling African countries shithole countries? The Democrats was willing to give Trump $50 billion towards his wall. If America would enhance the rules for individuals to come to this country from African countries. And Trump's response was, why we got to let people in here from those shithole countries? Which makes all those talks fall apart. He could have had $50 billion toward his wall. But because he's so dumb when it comes to how to maneuver through politics, he blew that opportunity. He didn't get he did not have his wall stopped from being built by Democrats. He had his wall stopped from being built because he was dumb. So, since Trump didn't get the wall built, like you said, if I'm a school teacher and I don't do what I say I'm going to do, I should lose my job. So why would you want to give him a job again? Why would you want to give him a job again? Trump supporters, full of shit, yo.
Well, it isn't. Not only was her job not in jeopardy, she was just handed a promotion.
Is there anyone that Kamala?
She says she was just handed a promotion. I don't know why the Republicans are crying about what the Democrats are agreeing to do. Everything that the Democrats did is under the law. If they voted for Joe Biden to have the Democratic nomination, Joe Biden say, I'm passing on to Kamala Harris, and the Democrats ain't crying and saying, no, you going against the will of the Democratic voters. Why are the Republicans crying? Why y'all crying about it? Why are y'all upset for what the Democrats have a legal right to do in their party? Joe Biden never got the Democratic nomination. He got the votes. He got the delegates. But the Democratic nomination ain't until mid-August. He did not get it yet. And no Democrats are crying. They are energized and rejuvenated and rejoicing and ready to go. So why are the Republicans talking about, oh, she got handed a promotion? What are you talking about? What was done within the Democratic Party is totally legal for the Democratic Party to do. Don't let them bullcrap you and tell you, oh, they did something illegal with this. That's bullcrap. They're just mad. And I'm going to break down why in a minute.
Kamala Harris could appoint as her vice president that you would find reassuring, would make you consider voting for her?
No.
Never considered voting for her. No.
I would do RFK Jr. way before her.
Yeah.
Same. Absolutely.
Yeah.
She would never vote for RFK Jr. These are a group of very racist white women. And it's like, goddamn. Only 2 of them are like little small women. The rest of them fat as hell. It's about 1,000 pounds of racist white women right there. Okay? Look. She a deuce plus. 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 2 little small white women. The rest of them is big. These are a group of racists. They would never vote for anybody that Kamala Harris picked, or Kamala Harris. And what they're really upset about is that they don't know, they can't say nothing bad about her. All that Joe Biden crime, the Biden crime family, and all that bull crap they've been spewing. He don't know where he's at. They're coming, they're going. All that bull crap is over with. You could explain all the good you know to these women. And it won't change their minds. Because they're mad because they don't know anything bad they could say about her. And that just crushes them. It crushes their world.
And she's not the first woman to run for the presidency, Hillary Clinton. I'm assuming no one voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. So it's not necessarily going to sway you to vote for a woman in office. When do you think America will have a female president?
When there's a competent one.
Just, I don't get a good feel for her.
I think she's an idiot.
Right.
Look, the fattest one in the group said she thinks she's an idiot. An idiot? She was California state attorney. She was California state prosecutor. Went to the Senate and became the first female vice president while you was in your double wide frying stuff and getting double wide. But she's an idiot. One lady said when there's a competent one. My question to her would be, well, what's a competent? What does it take to be a competent female president? I guarantee you she couldn't even tell you. They are full of crap. These are all racist white women who want to see people who they don't like, brown, black, Oriental, Arab, even Jew, hurt. And they believe Donald Trump is the one that's going to cause them that hurt. She called this big Kamala Harris an idiot.
Mary, why do you think that she's not that bright?
Because she hasn't done anything in the time that she's had. We don't know anything about her as far as her 3 years so far in the.
You only know what Trump tell you to know. And a vice president's job is to push the president's agenda. The vice president don't have a separate job. They can't just be out here doing what they want to do. And no, their job is to push forward what the president has. Don't mean that they have a different way of looking at things or may have a different style if they were given an opportunity to be president. But if they're vice president, their job is to push forward the president agenda.
The White House, she's not real smart. That's my opinion. It could be wrong.
It is
Vice
wrong.
President Kamala,
Because you got to be smart to know whether somebody's smart or not. And you don't look smart.
Harris wins the election, do you think that will be an honest result?
No.
No one respects her.
So already they are saying whatever results come through, it ain't going to be fair. Like their person can't be beat. These Trump supporters know. They know how much they love the man that they're supporting. But they also know that far more people hate his guts. Not just dislike him, hate his guts. They know this. And they're all smiling. We're not going to let the election, if it's fair and she beat him, we're going to say no. They're all smiling. This one here has had a frown on her ugly face. They're all laughing. You guys go back to Washington with that bull crap y'all did in 2020, and they are going to mow y'all asses down. A whole lot of y'all are about to die. And this man you following doesn't give a shit about you. But y'all know that too. Y'all know y'all made a deal with the devil, but y'all are so angry and so mad that the way of life that your parents guaranteed y'all was going to last forever is coming to an end. And you can't stand it.
Haley's, the very unsurprising, some fairly unsurprising responses there from the MAGA group that you talked to. I'm really interested in the other group you did, which is the kind of the swing voter group, the center right voters, and I'm interested because one of the things that the Trump campaign has done, in addition to some of the racist and sexist attacks that they've launched against her over the course of the last couple days, there has been in their advertising or digital video, there's been this focus on the question of she was in on it, she was concealing President Biden's health and trying to make that one of the many arguments they want to make about her. I'm curious, in that group, in the center right group, not the MAGA group, what you hear from them about that issue. I'm trying to kind of get a sense of whether that is an issue that has real salience with voters and something that the Harris campaign is going to have to deal with going forward.
Well, Howman, that's a great question, because that's exactly what we're about to hear in the next clip, and why we chose this clip, because it really came out so organically. The idea that these swing voters, that these right-leaning voters are grappling with considering Vice President Harris, but they feel misled by the Biden administration about Biden's fitness, and so they don't necessarily trust her, and they question if she played a role in a so-called, quote, cover-up of President Biden's health. So let's listen to the second group of voters. These are undecided voters, talk about their caveats with Donald Trump and with Kamala Harris.
Before we go into that, let's say this about Joe Biden. He's been called Sleepy Joe Biden. He don't know where he's at. There's videos, we've seen them, of him falling going up the stairs. Thank God it wasn't going down. But the truth about Joe Biden is Joe Biden has passed more legislation into law for a one-term president than any two-term president in the history of our country. Joe Biden will go down in history as one of the greatest, as the greatest one-term president that ever existed. His record is stellar as hell. The economy is booming. Border crossings is down. All that shit they're saying, these Trump and the Trump supporters, is a lie. 401ks are booming. His legislation that he's passed into law has set Americans up where they're living better. Now, you talk to Trump supporters, they'll tell you, oh, everything was better with him. But they can't tell you how it was better. Tell us some legislation he passed that made your life better. They can't tell you. The economy was better, everything was better. Stop playing. But let's listen to what these swing voters, let's listen to what they have to say.
If you have one concern about President Trump,
Fresca Mix, vodka
commercial.
spritz. It's citrusy, iconic, mesmerizing. It's apparently stealing my spotlight. Fresca Mix, classic Fresca taste, frisky vodka twist.
It's always these dumb
tell me
commercials.
that concern, and then what's your one concern about Kamala Harris?
For me, my concern about Trump is him making too aggressive of choices and us not being able to recover from it. I appreciate that he is willing to, if a bomb is dropped on our doorstep, he is out the door as fast as it hit us. But that does make me nervous, because did we vet everything that's going to happen of it?
First of all, I like what she said. But talk and tell the truth. I mean, what do you mean he makes too aggressive of decisions. Let's not forget President Trump attacked his own government. We had an election. He got his ass whooped. He said he didn't lose, and he sent a bunch of people to Washington, and people died. He incited an insurrection against his own fucking government. Okay? But she don't seem to be able to want to say that.
My concern about Paris is a bomb is dropped on our doorstep. It's going to be 6 months before we move.
First of all, what do you mean a bomb dropped on our doorstep? Attacked? Yes, that's our laws. Trump can't just take us to war, dum-dum. Our laws, we have to go to Congress, we have to get an act of war, and then the president can launch war as he wants to. We got hit on 9/11, and George W. Bush, a Republican president, was in office. What you mean if it's Kamala? Because Kamala gonna obey the law, like Trump did. I mean, like Bush did. Bush went to Congress, got an act of war, signed through Congress, and went to war. We went in Afghanistan and Iraq. Behind the people they told us was responsible for the attack on 9/11. So what do you mean you fear that Kamala is going to be 6 months? It should be, if that's what it takes to get an act of war, because we have laws, rules here. We have co-equal branches of government. Trump don't get to call them shots.
Move, and now we're viewed as weak. So again, which route do I really want?
We're never viewed as weak. What did you talk about? When we went to war against Bin Laden and the individuals that we claim attacked us in 9/11, we went to Congress and we got a coalition of nations to help us. Viewed as weak by who? And asses got kicked. So I don't know what you talk about. There is a process for that, hon. Trump don't get to just, he gonna be out the door in a minute. No, he ain't. That's not how it works here.
Want to go, it's personal questions on myself. So it makes me a little nervous on both sides.
What about you, Brad?
It would just be nice if they concentrate more on the issues instead of the mudslinging and personal attacks. I mean, we got problems in this country. The left wing and the right wing are on the same bird. I mean, let's try to find that common ground where we can't agree on things and start with that.
He didn't even answer the question. He went straight kumbaya. He didn't even answer it. He just was like, let's get along. But you have one candidate who already attacked his own government, who's talking about getting rid of the Constitution, who's talking about being a dictator on day one. Stop with the fake stuff, y'all.
What about you, Karen? I don't think we can ignore Trump's convictions, his integrity, his moral character. I worry about him if he gets retaliation for, something he gets him upset, and he's going to retaliate without slowing down, thinking it through. I honestly need to get more information about Camilla, because...
Look, She is the first one to say things that their dumbasses wouldn't even say. Him and her avoided all that. I don't know what environments they're in, but maybe they're in environments that might be just threatening. Because Trump supporters are some threatening, violent, harassing individuals, and maybe they live in those environments. And she doesn't, and she's free to say things these two couldn't say.
I just don't know enough about her, so I'm gonna wait and see. I have to kind of...
Look how they look away when she says that. Look at this. I'm going to back it up. After she says what she says, watch how they look
Camilla,
away.
Because
the other
I just
two.
don't know enough about her, so I'm gonna wait.
They're both looking away because they know they should have said more, but they don't have the heart to say it. They don't.
Wait and see. I have to kind
About
of
Trump.
step back and see. I've learned a lot just through our conversation today.
But they want to look
about
at her
that,
and look away when she
that's-
says, I need to
found
know more
really
about Kamala
interesting.
Harris. Like that's an excuse for
Who
them.
do you blame for President Biden being in office in this condition? Who deserves the blame?
His close staff. They work with him every day.
So I think that's what also makes me nervous about the Vice President Harris. Yeah.
Talk about that a bit.
So yes, she's going to be in it, but she also helped keep him in where he's at right now. And if he...
First of all, that's a lie. A vice president has no power to keep a president in or out of office. The vice president's job is to push the president's agenda. Whatever the president is doing politically and socially for the American people, that is the vice president's job. Sure, I have no power to keep nobody a cover up. No. And let me reiterate, the individual that they like to call sleeping, stumbling, bumbling, mumbling, Joe Biden has passed more legislation into law than any president in their 2 terms as president of the United States. He will go down in history as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, one-term president that ever existed. United States is drilling more in oil than they ever had before. We're producing as much oil as any Arab nation right now. Prescription medical costs are down for elders. The CHIPS program, where factories are about to be built all across this country because chips that are being built by China that goes in almost everything we use, televisions, computers, our cell phones, United States are going to start building those chips now. Okay? President Biden passed into law I'm trying to think of what the name of it's called. But it is the oh my God, what is it called? But it's to rebuild our country. Streets, roads, bridges, revitalizing buildings to turn them into affordable housing or stores where individuals could go buy fresh vegetables and do shopping, whatever. American Rescue Plan. That's what it's called. Millions is being spread all over the country out of billions of dollars out of this program. Biden has I'm telling you, as far as what he has done, he would be the greatest one-term president ever. So for these people to talk about, oh, his condition. What condition? Getting it done? What is his condition, y'all? The economy is booming. Unemployment is the lowest that it's been in 50 years. He's adding over 200,000 plus jobs every month to the economy. So I don't understand what condition is y'all talking about? And Kamala Harris hit it. He passed more legislation than any president in their 2 terms. And he did it in less than 1 term. In less than 1 term. So what do they mean?
He really is as bad as what they've been saying. I think if he steps down as president and she steps into the presidency before the end of his term, it almost makes me question a little bit more why it didn't happen sooner. She's worked with.
Because he passed more legislation than any president in his history. And he did it in less than 1 term. And it were 2-term presidents. That's why. Ask your mother how cheap her drugs are. Her medical prescriptions to pay for. He expanded Medicare. Obamacare, they call it. To bring in more individuals than Obamacare had in it initially. So that more people are covered. Ask your mom how much is she paying now as opposed to what she was paying when Trump was in office. Ask your mother that. He knows. He knows. Ask your mother that. You ask your dad.
She's been, to my understanding, with him daily, or at least a couple of days a week. Why hasn't this been brought to her attention if she's willing to hide that type of information?
What information?
Once she's in office, now what she's willing to hide for herself. And so I think that makes me a little bit uneasy. Not necessarily that I would vote for her for it, but it definitely opens that questioning of why now? Why are you now being okay with exposing Biden's health concerns? Is it because it benefits you?
She never exposed nothing. He had a bad debate. Democrats went after him because of the bad debate. And she supported him. Until he said, I'm stepping down and I'm endorsing Kamala. And Kamala stepped up. You got it all wrong, sister.
Or kind of what that line of questioning looks like.
Yeah, is it a power grabber?
Does anyone agree with Melissa's point that it calls into the vice president's judgment that she has been around while Biden's health has deteriorated?
100% agree. But it also seems like that's kind of how she carries herself. She kind of does what in the moment she needs to do to continue to move forward and move up.
So interesting. I love these elite.
What dude just said was the dumbest, ill-informed statement I've ever heard. Is what she does. Seems like he is a guy who's would never vote Democrat if you paid him. And then a white dude said it's a power grab. Maybe it's a power grab. What is you talking about? Everybody who's in any Trump circles have been calling Joe Biden sleepy. He don't know where he at, blah, 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 blah. Now the Democratic Party say, y'all right, we know it too. We're going to remove him. Now y'all got a problem with it. When it is perfectly legal for them to do what they... Everything was legal what they did. I just think this guy would never vote. I don't think he would never vote. Never vote Democrat. Because he's speaking about somebody, Kamala Harris. He couldn't tell you nothing about Kamala Harris' political career. I would have asked him, what do you mean this is how she is? Tell me in her political history what she's done to make you give that answer. He couldn't tell you.
I love these, Elise. They really give a sense of how people are thinking in these swing states, independent voters who maybe still are making a decision. I'm curious, it almost seems like you get a sense of what the challenge will be for Vice President Kamala Harris when you hear from these voters. What are you going to be doing today? Who will you be speaking with today?
Well, we're leaving the National Railroad Museum, who hosted us last night, to talk to these great Green Bay voters. And we're heading to Madison, and we're going to talk to progressive voters under the age of 40. And then we're going to hear from traditional Democratic voters.
I am going to try to track all her interviews, and I am going to share them with you guys. But I don't want to be on here too long. I just want to I'm going to let you go. But I just wanted to bring this to you guys, kind of try to weigh in on it, bring you up to political speed of what's going on in your nation and what people are thinking. But like I said, you know, and like the commentators here said, the Trump supporters wasn't too shocking, but I'm going to bring you some more of this. We're going to watch her interviews and try to keep up with it. And with that being said, I'm going to let you guys go because oh my God, I have to find this thing. That's what's so crazy. Okay, let's end this. Peace. Love y'all. Have a great weekend.